Welcome back to the Parts Avatar YouTube channel. Today we're going to be doing a little bit more maintenance on our NB Miata. We're going to be doing the valve cover gasket since it is currently leaking. So this is going to be a video how to do the valve cover gasket on a 1.6 and 1.8 liter Miata engine or NA Miata engine, and it's similar between the two, so it'll be very easy and straightforward to do. And I think this also applies to the early NB gens with the 1.8 as well. So without any delays, let's get right into it. What will we need to get this job done today? Obviously, a brand new valve cover gasket. This is available at partsavatar.ca. There will be a link in the description to this exact gasket so that you can get it nice and simply shipped to your house. Up next, we'll want a pair of needle nose or some sort of pliers just to take off all the hoses. Then we'll need a 10mm and a 12mm socket with our ratchet. I also recommend grabbing your extension as some of these will be hard to reach or harder to reach as they will be in the center of the engine. Then for cleaning purposes, we want a paper towel just to help clean the rest of the gasket out, and we can use some sort of scraping tool or something like that, and a microfiber to help clean off there as well. Then we can use some brake cleaner. I just have some random crap you can get at Canadian Tire. And then I have some Duplicolor engine paint, enamel. And this is what we'll use to actually paint the valve cover as I'll be painting mine. So I'll include just a quick time lapse of that. Other than these tools, you should be all set. I would also recommend grabbing some plastic pry tools. Our plastic pry tool will allow us to easily lift up the valve cover if it doesn't want to come up without damaging the aluminum. Or aluminium. As you'd like to say it, and this will be better than using a screwdriver as it won't damage, and if this gets damaged, this is cheap to replace, $1 or $2, who knows. So to get started, we have 13 10mm bolts that we need to take off. These two are different than the remaining 11 that we have to do, so make sure to just keep them separate, but we have these 13 to take off, and then we will have two 12mm, one here and one here.
Are you smashed in?
Now we want to take out all the coil packs. Just pull up, straight up on them. They have these little grab thingies to help take them off nice and easy. Make sure to take them out of their brackets as well. Boom. And now we can just honestly grab, spin them out of the way up there, just so they're out of our way. Next, let's grab those two 12mm bolts up here. Now we can go ahead and take off these two front 10 mils and set them aside because they are a little bit different than the remainder from what I am told. So there we go. The remainder, I'm pretty sure, are all the same, but just because I like being a little OCD, if they look any different, I will arrange them differently. Yeah, they're all a bit longer. Now is when those pliers come in handy, as we want to remove these hose clamps and remove the hose overall. So let's move it back to position where it's fine. There we go. And then we want to pull that off very lightly. I might actually grab that plastic pry tool that I took, as that will ease my life even further with the removal. Plastic pry tool is malleable enough where we can slide it in, help slide these off, and not damage anything. Just makes it a little bit easier. These plastic tools are technically trim tools, but they come in handy for loads of different applications. Using a screwdriver might actually damage this, while these plastic tools will not. Man, this one is stuck on there. Oh, there we go. Boom. And that came off nicely. That's why I like taking the screws out first, because then we have a little bit more slack to play with pulling it off. Let's not forget about these two 12 mils back here that are holding on. I have given up and resorted to potentially trying with the screwdriver, seeing if that'll give me more prying action. Oh, there we go. Looks like I loosened it a bit, but not enough. We have one side up, which is good. We can see the gap here. Boom, boom. Let's try the other side somewhere now where we can potentially lift and pry a bit without damaging anything. Oh, wow, that came off quite nicely. I didn't even have to pry in more spots. Pry it around with the plastic. Seems that that was good enough. Oh boy, this is oily. So I set up my little space where I'm going to put the valve cover. Let me grab this right up and up, without damaging anything. Oh boy, yeah, this gasket is original as we can tell, and it's full of oil. So let's get this down. This is also a great opportunity to take a look at our timing belt, see if it has any cracks or anything from age. Luckily, because it is sealed, it doesn't allow moisture or other things to get to it to make it crack or other stuff. Make sure you don't leave any oil on it, as I already got some. And here we can take a look at the cams, we can take a look at the condition of everything. Last thing that we want is something falling into the engine bay. So I have this tissue paper, or engine actually, not engine bay, is this tissue paper that is just going to cover from anything else falling in. So I also have a plastic bag you can use, garbage bag, anything like that, just to protect the engine from objects falling in. So here we have the old valve cover. We want to just peel it up nicely and try to get all of it off if we can. So we can either use that plastic pry tool, our fingers, or these needle nose pliers to take it apart. It is very hard and brittle, unlike the new one that's like soft and mushy. Now the next step will be to actually go through and clean everything out. So this is exactly where brake cleaner, shop towels, and things like that come into a big help, as it'll help remove all the gunk and all the dirt out of here. So the biggest use of this pry tool is actually going to be grabbing a paper towel and getting into all those little grooves to get any of the remaining gasket out. And then afterwards, you can just get some compressed air and blow everything out as well.
You're not sad again. Are you Splash Gang?
So now, since I'm going to be giving this valve cover a light coat of paint, I think I'm just going to paint it red. We want to spray down the whole top, clean it off, degrease it. I think it'll be coarse enough for me to just start painting. Typically you would want to sand or something a bit, but look, all that grease is going to come right off. Boom, look at that difference. Brake cleaner makes a big difference. Oof, look at all that right there in those corners. So I'm going to continue, clean this off, and show you the finished product afterwards, because it's just me cleaning. Now that we have it all prepped, we can start laying down some paint.
You're not sad again. Are you Splash Gang?
Let's go with a fresh can now. See how that works out. All right, we're back the next day. The paint is fully dried, and boy, I think it looks incredible, especially compared to before. This is a night and day difference. We did lose a bunch of the patina, which some people might like, but I like how it looks now. It's nice and fresh and red, and honestly, in camera looks even better than in person, which I'm very happy with how it turned out. So now let's get the new gasket on and get this in the engine bay. Before we dive into putting on the new valve cover and the valve cover gasket, we also want to make sure that this whole area where the gasket was before is nice and clean, so it seats very well. So let's go get some shop towels and a little scraper and clean it all up. Now I'm gonna go one step further, grab a microfiber. This doesn't break up into pieces like the paper towel does, and then I can really get in there and get any of the remaining stuff out without worrying about getting any of the paper towel stuck in the engine bay, because that's the last thing that we want. Or engine, actually, not even engine bay, straight in the engine. Now we have our brand new gasket and we have our nice and clean valve cover. What we can do is go ahead and install it, take out the gasket, and simply line it up. As you can see, this one is very rubbery, very, in a way, gooey. So she can go on nice and easily. This gasket is not symmetrical, it's asymmetrical, so it only goes in one way. So we can line her up, get her inside, and then get her installed. Now we can go ahead and install this on the car. Now that we have everything lined up, let's attempt to get this valve cover back on. Boom. Make sure to line it up under the coil packs there. Perfect. Now should be well seated. Now the next step will be following the torque down or bolt installation process. There's apparently a specific way. Let me show you how to do that right now. So in order to install all the bolts now, we do have to follow a specific pattern. I have that pattern up right here and I will link it in the description. It's actually on the Miata forums. So I'll show you how to go. Basically it's starting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then we install the ones that are not on the head.
You're not sad again. Are you splashed?
And that's all, our valve cover is replaced. Now we can move on to the other maintenance and other items we have to complete on the Miata. So join me in the next videos as I continue restoring this car to its kind of former glory, and we'll go from there. Thank you so much, and we'll see you in the next one.
Remember, Parts Avatar has got your back, so don't forget to subscribe to the Parts Avatar channel so you don't miss any of these exciting videos.